Well, hello, hello. Welcome, crafty friends. Welcome to the Weekender Virtual Retreat. We are heading to the Mediterranean. How exciting is that? I am Kim Kesty. I'm still giggling over that opening music. I love it so much. I am Kim Kesty here in the Spellbinder studio, and we're going to have so much fun over the next 2 days. I'm just so excited. Of course, I'm not here all by myself. First, I'm going to introduce my moderator for the evening, and that is Miss Nicole. For those of you who don't know, she's...
Hello.
Yay!
That music makes me want to have a big old plate of spaghetti and meatballs. Good to see everybody.
Awesome, awesome. Nicole's going to just be answering questions as we go through the evening, just kind of bantering back and forth, setting you up for some fun things like, I don't know, giveaways maybe throughout the evening, just doing some other fun things. And, of course, back behind the controls, we have Mr. Gavin. Hey, Mr. Gavin, all right. And I'm going to bring in one of our special instructors in just a minute here. But before we get started, a couple little housekeeping things. Of course, we are live here on Facebook. We want you to comment, engage with us all throughout the evening, and, of course, tomorrow, too. If you guys just have anything to say or anything to comment on, we just love interacting with you. We are also going to be, like I said, having a giveaway, but we'll prompt you on that. Don't worry, don't get too excited about that quite yet. But let's take a look at our schedule over actually what we're going to be doing the next 2 days. I think Gavin's got this like fancy way to put up the schedule. Wow, look at that. Okay, just to refresh you, we're going to have the single YouTube link for tonight. You guys have all found that, thank goodness. And then tomorrow will be a separate link, but that will stream all day tomorrow. And it's more tomorrow I want to just briefly go over. Because as we have instructors coming in and out at their appointed times that you can see here on the schedule, we're going to be filling in between the instructors with this, what we like to call shenanigans, sometimes showing extra products, sometimes showing something new, just a lot of fun little extra things. So definitely want to tune in, but we will be sure to give you guys break time, and we'll be sure to start each teacher's class promptly on time. So just to give you a little heads up about that, we're going to have a lot of fun over the next 2 days. So we'll bring up that schedule probably at the end of the show just to refresh you about tomorrow. So that's that. Schedule, easy check. We mentioned giveaways, and Nicole's going to help prompt me, and we're going to do this just as I kind of start my demo. So just in a few minutes, we'll give you a little prompt on how to be sure to enter that giveaway, and it's going to be through comments, so that'll be fun. But before I get started crafting, I actually want to bring in Miss Shannon from Hero Arts, who, of course, is going to be working with me later on this evening for her class. Oh, are you ready for the weekend?
I am so ready for the weekender. I'm ready to have my Mediterranean vacation now.
Yes, I love it. You are definitely decked out. I love it. I love it. So Shannon's going to be teaching at 7 o'clock. I know some of you asked, how's this going to work with, you guys going back and forth, but you'll be here at 7. In the meantime, Shannon is going to be relaxing and hanging out, and then if I need anything, I'll holler. Shannon.
Holler loudly.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Shannon.
I'll see you guys then.
So we're going to be doing that. So what I meant to say earlier is people were asking, like, when's Kim's class? So my one class is going to be tonight. I kind of prepped you a little bit when we did our homework. And that is going to be the fun little cruise ship card that's in your booklet. I think it's the very end of your booklet, maybe the very last page. And then my second card, which is the fun one with the little vellum, we're going to be featuring that throughout the day tomorrow. So I might do a part of it after one segment and then maybe a part of it later on. And then you guys will easily be able to catch up and keep up with that one because that one's really very easy. So let's take a look at the Weekender box and our fun little booklet we have here that I was just talking about. Of course, I hope you all love the Weekender box. And I want to give a shout out to Josie. She's our designer that really is the heart and soul behind this. And Josie's actually going to be here tomorrow, speaking of guests and shenanigans happening tomorrow. Josie's going to pop in, and then we'll visit with her a little bit more about her inspiration for the box. And even I hope you guys notice the fun, inside cover and all the fun little icons on the inside of the box. I mean, just so much thought and care went into this. So just wanted to really give Josie a shout out for the beautiful Weekender box that we are all going to enjoy. And, of course, we're going to collect these things. This is our second year for Weekender, and I'm hoping that we do it again next year. I think that would be really fun. So keep that collectible box handy. Love, love. And like I said, the booklet's got all the fun little classes in, and then the one we're going to be working on today, of course, is, like I said, yep, I was right, all the way at the back of the book, the very, very last class. So as I'm working through the project and finishing it through from start to finish, you guys can also refer to this for the instructions if you get a little bit lost. But always remember that this video and tomorrow's video are going to be obviously recorded, and they're going to be available for you for a good long time. We don't really put an end date on it. Minimum of 1 year, but I'm sure it'll be much longer than that. We still have last year's Weekender videos up and going strong. So fun. If you guys, again, need to refer to anything there. And as I start pulling my stuff out, we are definitely working on this fun card, which is a cruise ship. So Nicole, I kind of wanted to talk about, actually, let's go to my front-facing camera first, because I want to give you guys a little clue on one of the items in our giveaway for today. And it is reflected here. I got to do a little spin. Da, da, da. You guys like my little shruggy? What does this remind you of?
They already were onto you with your outfit. There's comments like, oh my god, your outfit. Oh my god, your necklace. Oh my god, you match. Oh.
So if you go to Nicole's shot and take a peek at her, oh, she's got some more clues back there. So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to guess one of the items that is in the giveaway pack today, because it is an item that you guys have been loving and that
and wanting more of.
And it is exclusive to the box, so it won't be sold on the website. So I'll give you a couple minutes while I set up my card. We're such teases. We have to do this all the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab out my card right here. I'm going to get my ink pad and grab out my blue Hawaii ink. The other inks you'll be needing, I know Shannon will be using the lemon drop in just a few minutes. And then we're going to grab out, I've got my little craft stacks here. Yes, love. We've got our gems. We'll be using that to add some pretty sparkle to our water, so grab those out. And then 2 die sets will be needed to finish this card. Of course, the main one is Deckside Dreams. And then the La Dolce Vita banners is the one I used. And of course you could swap your sentiment out. If you don't love the sentiment that I use, you absolutely feel free to make it your own. But this is the one I chose to do. So yeah, those are all stuck there. I'll leave those guys there for a second. So I kind of have a lot of my cruise ship pieces here, and I'm going to go through and tell you when I'm going to be die cutting. There's not a whole lot of die cutting to finish this guy, but I think we'll do that first. Get ourselves warmed up, right? I'm going to bring my die cutting machine in, and then I'll kind of lay them out as we go. Let's start with one of the big guys first. And I do have an extra panel of just plain white paper I'm going to grab here. I may just actually cut this in half to make it easier for die cutting. Just whatever white you have that's good for die cutting. You'll need a little bit of white too. If I get the right die and the right paper. All right, so the first thing we're going to cut is this little outside die here from Beeswax. No, I'm just kidding, you guys. You know I cannot resist. It's saffron. It's saffron.
Yeah, it's too soon.
Too soon. We're going to cut this little background ship deck here from Saffron. Oh, I have a little weird piece of paper on there. And check this out, guys. Deb is so good. We're going to be introduced to Deb tomorrow, who's one of our main helpers doing all these fun projects. She hooked me up with brand new cutting plates. Look at that. So beautiful. This is their first cut. Oh, do you guys ever cringe when it's your very first cut? It's like, oh, they'll never be perfect again. Although I do have a little tip for die cutting, and one thing that I think kind of helps from the plates cupping too much is I like to just keep one plate where I'm always using it as the top plate, and then cut into this plate till it's pretty trashed, and then try to swap it out. Now, it doesn't always work, I have to admit, but I do try to always use one cutting plate on the top. Okay.
And it's really important if you're doing die cutting of better pressed images.
Of better pressed images, you're right, because better pressed, for those of you who don't know, is typically done on a really soft cotton paper, and that is kind of very impressionable, I guess we'll say.
Indeed. Mm-hmm.
So you do want to use a clean plate on top. Okay, now we're going to cut that same die out of this white, and I'm going to use my little Best Ever Craft tape here, just to make sure it kind of stays centered. So this time we're putting the insert in the die, and that's going to give us our great little frame for our deck. Our decks, I should say, because the cruise ship has a lot of decks. Speaking of cruise ship, Nicole, we should talk about a giveaway. I don't want to get too distracted while people are crafting, but do we have any guesses on what our prize might be or one piece?
They did. Well, they said rub-ons and vellum. And vellum is correct. Rub-ons may make a little baby appearance tomorrow with JC's class, right?
Yes.
But for tonight, for the giveaway, it's a giveaway pack. So it's not just vellum. It also will have a few other elements, which I'll let Kim talk about.
Yes.
So we'll be doing these prize packs. I've gotten a couple questions. They're like, wait, so do I need to be live? Yes. So the giveaways will be happening throughout the event. We'll do a couple tonight. We'll do several tomorrow. And the idea here is that Kim, or the instructor that will be there, will ask you a question. You will answer the question in the comments. I will grab all those comments, and using the magical powers of random number generator, we'll pick a winner. So, yes, this is a need be present to win type of situation.
Yes.
So, okay, with all that boring stuff out of the way, carry on.
So, I will tell you the rest of the giveaway as I cut my little bow. So, this is the ship's, I don't know if it's a hull or a bow. Maybe that depends on how big the ship is, but I'm going to say it's a bow. And I'm also cutting that out of the white, and that's going to be the piece that's going to pop up right here. And while I'm cutting that, I will tell you that the giveaway tonight is going to be, yes, a pack of the vellum. It's very much like the shirt I'm wearing. And also another pack of the Pretty Weekender gems. I've heard a lot of you saying you're falling in love with the gems. And also another pack of Weekender cardstock. Yay! So all 3 items. The winner will win all 3 items. And because I'm working on a cruise ship, what do you think, Nicole? I think we should have people post on what is your dream cruise, even if you've already been on it. Tell us about a dream cruise you've been on or one you want to go on. So just post that in the comments, and Nicole will grab everybody's comments. And we won't close it till I'm done with my card, so you have plenty of time. And Nicole will remind you a little bit later. So just post about your dream cruise, current, past, present, or future. We do have one of our friends who's going on a cruise tomorrow, and she is actually one of our beloved store owners, Deanna. She's like, don't tell people where I'm going. So we're super excited for her. So you guys saw how I just folded that? I folded the 2 little tabs in, and this makes this ship card so fun and interactive. So now we've really got a 3D bow that's going to pop out. So just be gentle. Don't crease it too hard. So there's that little guy. And then with your last scrap of white, let's get all of our white done first. I'm going to get myself a little bit of smoke. So I've got one little piece here, and I can cut out my smoke. This is a very clean burning ship, so it has very white, so it's very...
Is it electric ship?
It's probably electric, yeah. Its smoke is not black or gray. It's very white.
Oh my gosh, so many answers are coming in. I'm seeing some trends here, though.
I love it.
I'm going to throw them into Excel and, make it a little poll here.
That'll be fun. We'll have to, yeah, maybe with some common thread will come out. I love that. Okay, so we've got our white done. So let's move on to a few more of our colors. We've got our bright poppy red. Now this little strip die right here cuts multiple, so we're going to cut it once out of red and once out of our green. By the way, you have 2 greens. A lot of you have already identified these colors. You've got Rainforest and Peridot. So Rainforest is a little bit darker. That's what we're going to use to cut our second set of trimmings. So 1 poppy and 1 Rainforest. Oops, I got to cut on my right plate here, Kim.
So we have a newbie in our group, which I'm so excited to have, and she said, I don't know the names of the cardstock colors. And my advice was just kind of match it up to what's in your booklet. But you might have better advice, Kim.
Well, if you did not open your cardstock, oh, I'm sure everyone pretty much has opened it already, but the cardstock colors are listed on the front of that sheet. So, I mean, if you've already opened them and mixed them up, that really doesn't help you very much. But A lot of our friends have posted the PDF that's on our website online. We've posted a link to that. It is on our website, and that is pretty helpful, but as is with all computer programs, you know, the colors aren't really perfect online, but they definitely will help out. I think the best suggestion really is to order one of our smaller packs of paper, maybe either the 8.5 by 11 sampler, or we do have available, Nicole, an A2.
The A2 was made available yesterday.
Oh, excellent. We have an A2 pack, which is all 48 colors, which is an excellent, excellent way for you to just try all the colors, see which ones you love the best. And my recommendation is to go ahead and swatch those out. So again, go by the colors on the outside of the package. It's going to tell you exactly what order they're in. And then you can have your own little swatch. And every time you need a certain special color, you can go in and just grab it. All right, so I have my lighter green here, which is my peridot, and I'll try to say the numbers out loud. Sorry, the names out loud as we go along. So I'm gonna grab this peridot, but I'm also gonna bring in our other little cute die, the banners, because my La Dolce Vita also wants to be cut out of this peridot strip. Hello Sunshine, that would be so cute too for the sentiment. Really, it's your choice. Whichever one tickles your fancy. Or I mean, really, any of the stamps would be super cute on this too. Do you guys love that stamp set? Isn't it the cutest? That also is an exclusive for your kit. There's quite a few exclusives in your Weekender kit that will not be for sale on our website.
So, I don't know these products as well as I should, to be honest with you. Kathy said, is there a solid piece that cuts out the back of the ship?
The back of the ship. No, there's no really back of the ship.
Because we don't see the back.
So the most solid piece that cuts out the back of the ship is this guy.
Okay.
So this is the main solid back. We'll put the chimney here. We'll put the bow in front of this piece, so it does kind of make the whole ship. So this is kind of your key back piece. You'll see that as I start putting it together. I gotta finish my die cutting so I can do a little stenciling. That goes pretty fast though. So I've got my La Dolce Vita banner. Such a cute little cutout right there. And then I do have one more little tiny piece of our darker blue, our Cosmic. And I'm going to take this banner apart, which is, again, Josie's so clever. She always gives us these opportunities to switch things up. So I'm going to be able to cut this solid banner without the words out of my Cosmic Sky. And that'll be a nice backer for my words. See, if I don't tape it, I got to make sure it doesn't wiggle. Alright, and again, love my craft stacks for all my little dies and my scraps, and try to keep everything contained here. Alright, so I think I have all my little pieces cut out. I'm just going to kind of stack them up here. Dies go back in my craft stacks. Again, so I was talking about, love these trays. We did a giveaway of those earlier in the week. That was fun. And now what I want to do is finish up my background. So those of you who did the homework know that we have 2 panels of white cardstock that has been sprayed with this really cool tone-on-tone metallic. So we did this as homework, so these are all nice and dry. If you did not do that or did not have a chance to do that, no problem. Just get yourself a nice area where you can spray maybe a cardboard box or something. That's what I showed it in. And spray yourself 2 A2 panels. One a little bit heavier and one a little bit lighter. I just kind of did that to give myself variation. And then I can choose which one I want to have for my background. And actually, they'll kind of go this way with my ship, as you can see from my finished card. Heavier at the bottom and lighter at the top. So I think I'm going to choose this one to do my stenciling on because it's the lighter of the 2. This will also have some stenciling on it, but this is going to be my main background card. So I'm going to bring in my little sticky mat stamp wheel here. Yes, it's very well loved with ink already. So a sticky mat is helpful. If you don't have a sticky mat, you definitely can tape this down with some low-tack tape. That is perfectly great way to do it also. And then your stencil, which I have here. and a little sample piece I did earlier. Isn't that fun with all 3 layers? For this particular ship, I only wanted 1 layer. I only wanted kind of this bubbly layer. So it's kind of a different way to use the stencil without all 3 layers. But I think it gave my background just a little bit extra dimension and a little bit more fun than just the spray. Although the spray is very fun on its own, for sure. So I'm just kind of, actually I'm going to go up a little bit higher. Make sure my stencil goes all the way to the top. I'm just kind of lining up these circles at the top. This is why I love the sticky mat. It's quite a bit easier than taping. Maybe I'm a lazy crafter. And then we are using our blue Hawaii from our ink pad. I mentioned that earlier. And then I'm going to get some ink here. And then I'm just going to go in, starting at the top. And I'm not worried about it being super solid or super dark. I kind of want that light, airy look. But if you have some darker pieces, some lighter stenciling, that's totally fine. It's just going to make it look like, maybe like splishy splashes of water, something like that. Okay, while I'm stenciling, I want to hear some cruise destinations. Give me some ideas, Nicole.
Okay, well, first of all, I have 2 questions.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to answer them, and then I'll get to that. So, someone asked what kind of water. Regular tap water is fine. No big deal. Leanne Chester said, bumpy side of the watercolor paper or smooth side?
We're not using watercolor paper.
That's what I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, no, this is just good old plain white cardstock.
Okay.
Nothing special. Nope. Shannon will be using watercolor paper a little bit in hers, and I think, again, that's kind of optional, but she'll be chatting about that.
And I'm going to ask this, we've talked about this in previous events, but I think it's worthy of addressing. The whole blending brush question. So using blending brushes with different things.
Right.
Yeah.
Now Shannon might have another answer. Actually, Shannon, are you available to just pop in here? Because this blending brush I have in my hand, I use for reactive ink, but I have also been known to take this same blending brush with your core ink for Hero and mixing and matching. Am I a bad girl?
No.
Am I a very bad crafter?
I do the same thing. You might find, though, with the core ink, sometimes your blending brushes might get a little stiff, the bristles.
Okay.
And then you might need to clean it with some, like, rubbing alcohol.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
okay.
found
So
that
if it gets stiff and yucky, you could be like, back to the drawing board, clean it up, and then it's good to go.
Good to go. Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. There are people, though, absolutely, who will never switch between, like, let's talk about distress inks. Like, between a distress ink and a distress oxide, they'll be, no. Keep your brushes separate, which, more power to you. If you do that, that's fantastic. But I also am lucky enough to have a Deb in my life who cleans my brushes. She's back there laughing. Who cleans my brushes pretty frequently, so maybe I've just kind of avoided that where it's kind of, gotten my brushes stiff or something, but sorry guys, in my book, I'm just like, use your brushes, they're tools. Eventually if they get yucky, clean them, I mean, I wouldn't go and mix an archival oil-based ink, with something like this, but if I'm going between 2 more or less, dye inks or water reactive inks, I'm not too fuzzed up about it. What do you guys think? Is that fun? I wasn't too worried about down here because we're die cutting pieces to put on top, so I'm mainly looking at what's at the top of my thing, and I love it. So cute. Okay, so I do want to switch this around, and again, I'm mostly going to stencil at the bottom of this panel, just so when I die cut one of my little waves, it'll show up a little bit. So I want to just put a little bit more ink here. But good question, Nicole. Thank you for... Who is it that asked that? Can't remember.
They are so chatty, and I freaking
Oh,
love it.
they're so chatty. I love
There's
it.
a lot. We're at 700 people. This is so fantastic.
I love it.
And I know a lot of people are watching from stores, too, so there's even more.
That's true. That's true. So many of our retailers are having events, and so many of them supported us selling the Weekender box. We love our local retailers. You guys support them all you can.
Okay, so you asked me a question about, someone said, I hear clicking. If you hear a little typing in the background, that's me answering y'all's questions. So I'm trying to keep my typing quieter. But, so I tried to do some counts.
Cute.
I think if we had to take a count of like the winner, it would be Alaska.
Okay.
However, Mediterranean was right up there.
High on the list, huh?
And Greece is in there, which is Greece the Mediterranean though? Like, does that kind of count for both? I'm not really sure.
Kind of counts, I think.
But I am hearing you're gonna just die, Kim. I'm not gonna be surprised. But guess what they're saying?
What?
We want to do a crafting cruise.
Oh, crafting cruise. You guys, this is not even funny because it literally was probably 48 hours ago that we were saying, our boss here at Spellbinders of all people, I mean, he's a dude. Not that he doesn't love crafting. Of course he does. But he's kind of been on this bandwagon about, what are these cruise things? Like, should we be doing a cruise? Should we do a Spellbinders cruise? And we're like, what? You're talking about this? And of course, the answer to that was, yeah, we want to someday, you know, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
This is absolutely nothing that we have 100% in the works or anything, but just an idea we've been floating
It
around.
literally came about this week with Kim and
Like,
Denzel
yeah, 2 days
chattering
ago.
about it. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Gavin's like, I think you need a videographer on the cruise. Yes. Okay, so I just attached my one panel just so I didn't cut up the wrong panel, which I can be known to do. I attached that to my folded card base. So if you guys are wondering what that was, I'll have to kind of flatten it out a tiny bit more. But okay, so that one is all set. That's my lighter panel. This one I'm going to die cut just a little bit with the dye from the ship. So I want to get 2 levels of water out of here. So I think I'm going to start down at the bottom. And again, this is not any kind of precision. I'll grab my card. I think this is first one's tiny bit over an inch. And it doesn't have to be exact.
Kim, you know,
get buzzed
they
up.
want to know, how big are these pieces?
Yes.
So,
So okay, this one is 1 1/8 inch.
you just made that up.
I kind of did. Approximately 1 inch. See, these grid marks are 1 inch. So you guys can see that this first wave is just basically 1 inch. So I'll just line it up and kind of do this. Yes, perfect. And I'll help you guys measure the other one.
So jumping in here, everything you're seeing tonight will be rewatchable, replayable.
Yes.
So if you are feeling like she's going too quickly here, don't worry. You can always come back, pause, rewatch, rewind, fast forward, all that good stuff.
Yes.
So, yes, indefinitely.
This is why we love our best ever craft tape, so it doesn't stick on here. Oh, we didn't talk about the coupon code. We should
I was
talk about
wondering
the
if you guys
coupon
were doing
code. Because I know you guys are probably going to want to start shopping at some point this weekend anyway. I hope you do. We have a coupon code, especially for you, which is great for free shipping. So, you know, y'all know we have sales a lot here at Spellbinders, which is fantastic. And I know a lot of you take advantage of that, which I love. We did not want to, you know what, I'm going to cut the bottom straight here real quick, just so I can help you measure better. So we didn't really feel like, you know, like a 10% off or whatever. Stuff's already higher than that priced off on the website already. We thought, you know what's actually a great value right now is free shipping. So we're doing free shipping right now, which I think is great, because if you guys find something you like to add to your cart tonight, you can be like, use the code Weekender, right, Nicole? Weekender. And grab that free shipping. And then tomorrow, if you're going along and you're like, ooh, I like that XYZ, you can do it all over again. Free shipping, Weekender.
So here's the deal.
Let's hear the deal.
My Canadian friends are like, what about us? This is
Oh,
for,
yes.
This is for domestic.
Let me just point out this measurement real
Yep.
quick while I'm doing it. It's like 1.5 now is this next cut. 1.5.
So what I will say, first things first, if you, this works on all 3 sites. Hero site, Spellbinders site,
Oh, yes. Hero
Spellbinders
site,
UK
too.
site.
Yes.
For our international friends, we're not buying from the UK site. Unfortunately, it does not apply to you. But we are going to work on it for the next show. I promise you that. What I will also say, though, is we have a tremendous group, and you talked about this earlier, of retailers in Canada
Yes.
that would love to serve you. So if you are someone who struggles with the shipping issue, we all struggle with the shipping issue, reach out to your local retailer, and they will get it for you.
Yes.
And that is a great way to help with that.
I love that. Yes, we wish we could offer free shipping for everybody all across the country, but it's not really too practical.
And you can use it more than once.
Yes, you can use it more than once. That's the part I love. All right, so I'm just checking my wave here, making sure I'm high enough. Because this one's not really going to show. This back one's not going to show as much. So if you want it a little bit higher, I think mine's fine. But if you if you cut yours a little shy and you want to put this one a little higher, feel free. This one's going to have double foam, people. Whoa. Double foam adhesive. So that means I'm going to do one layer of foam. Because I'm doing this so I want my little ship to be able to pop out the bow to be dimensional. Now if I have it too flat, it won't do that. It'll just flatten my boat. Then my boat will sink and I will not be happy. So 2 high foam squares, double high. Oops, I need to peel that one back. That would be helpful. Am I doing okay on time? I feel like I don't want to rush too much.
Yeah, I think you're doing good.
I don't want to short Shannon on time either. Okay, so layer 1, double high, double thick. See that? Got lots of room here to tuck my boat in. And then this front one I'm going to put on top, and see how this is lighter? So that does show up there quite well against the other one. Now I'm going to just do a single layer of foam on this one. Maybe one here and one here. This one doesn't have to be quite so high. Ooh, I have these little foam. Okay, where's the funniest spot you guys have ever had one of these little foam backer stickers show up? I want to know. We've all been there when it's been stuck to our rear end or stuck somewhere or stuck to our kitty cat or something. All right. So I think I'm going to go ahead just for funsies and put my sentiment on because I feel like, ooh, I might need some glue, Deb. Do we have glue? Maybe I took it away when I was prepping my card. Oopsie, I probably did. Okay, I'm kind of stacking up my other pieces as we go here. We're going to glue a few things together and then I'm going to pop them on our card.
Okay,
So you can see that this is the backer for this.
I have to say some of these, you guys, because
I want to hear
it. So of course, Catherine foam sticker in my bra, which we've all been
In the
there.
bra, yes.
Hair in my bed, and then Kimberly said on the back of my dog's ear, which I love, and then Christine said bathroom floor off my foot. So yeah. Oh, and Puppy had one on her nose the other day in my bra.
Puppy?
Yeah. Always sticks to my socks, down my bra. I'm telling you, the bra is a very frequent. Oh, there's a lot of pets.
You know
here.
what I vote for? Just ditch the bra. I say we just forget it.
Hey, we're not that kind of show yet, Kim. Okay, Gloria.
We're on vacation after all.
I have to. This is too much. She said in her dog's poop.
No. Poor
I
puppy
can totally see
ate
my puppy.
it.
My puppy would do the same. Yeah.
I wonder if he ate the whole foam square.
Mine would. Mm-hmm.
Yours would.
He eats everything.
Oh my gosh. All right, gluing my white onto my saffron. You guys are the best responsers.
Oh, goodness gracious.
This is also really fun too because think of the fun things you could inlay. Like I just kind of put all these dropouts to the side, but you guys could cut more colors and inlay that and do so many fun things on your ship. Love it. Put my sentiment together here. You could also offset this sentiment. I didn't do that, but it's really cute if you kind of, you know, have a little bit of the blue showing. Maybe I'll do that just for funs. A little bit of blue showing on there. That's so cute. Okay, now we have, you saw me put the smoke on here, and there is a little embossed line here, which is perfect for adding your little smokestack here on my electric ship. And then I just need 3 pieces of trim. You guys, we're almost done. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to do Poppy at the top. I wanted this to be just really a bright, colorful ship. Like, I don't know. What's the colorful ships? Carnival? Everyone's like, ooh, Carnival. A Norwegian. Oops, I made the long one for this guy. In fact, there's certain ships known for like their super fancy like go-karts and water slides, and Shannon will have to share when she has her class about what her brother is up to right now on the cruise he's on. That'll be fun. Okay, so that's it. 3 little trim boards. There's really nothing else fancy about this guy. Now these two pieces I'm gonna adhere separately on my card because this kind of just glues with the 2 tabs, and then I'll just kind of pop this in where it belongs. So I'm gonna do the hull first. Actually, I'm gonna do my sentiment real quick because it's right here. Yes, I'm cutting my foam squares in half. Don't we all do that? I do have strips down here. Deb, once in a while, she asks me, why don't you use the strips? They're like right there. Like, oh, I forgot. All right, what else are we forgetting? Are we forgetting? We gave the coupon code.
Yep.
All right, so ship next. We have our prize going on. You're going to have another chance to win for Shannon's class. So when I finish this card, we're going to close comments from my class.
Okay, there's still a few coming in here.
Yep, you still have time. All right, so I'm popping my ship right here. And I'm letting it pop up and be dimensional. So just by putting glue only on these sides, I can kind of make sure that I have that dimension. I'll hold it up here so you guys can see. See? It sticks out. So you're going to ask me, how does that go in an envelope? And I will say, I have no idea. Piece of bubble wrap. How about you hand carry this card and give it to someone?
They just asked,
I don't know.
Can you mail this or?
No, I'm sure that, Jennifer McGuire could come up with this amazing way where it like flattened out in the card. Like I'm sure she could come up with some kind of clever mechanism or whatever, but this is dimensional. And you don't have to make it as dimensional as I did. You could make yours a little bit flatter. Let's see this one. Probably about the same. Yeah, it's about the same. But once you got that, then this guy can just pop in with a couple more foam squares. And then you have the opportunity to move this up and down, kind of get it to be positioned just right on your card front.
By the way, Jennifer's on.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Hi, Miss Jennifer. We're very happy to have you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, whoa, my smokestack is going crazy. I see what I did here. Oopsie. My smokestack is blown in the breeze there, and it's going straight up here. It's a very calm day at sea.
It looks like an ice cream. It looks like an ice cream cone.
Ice cream cone. Okay, well, I could take that off and move it, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. I probably could have put the whole thing down a little bit farther. So yeah, this one's buried in the water. This has more people on it. What can I say? This is a cruise with fewer people. This has 1,000 people.
They've been at sea eating the buffet all week.
Yeah, they've been at this end of the cruise, beginning of the cruise. I don't even feel like that's 100% straight, but I am fine with it. Okay. I am going to bring some gems and just scatter a few gems around, and then we are going to close comments for mine. And you guys, this is a special pack of gems too. We're not selling these. In fact, this is a color that we first couldn't really get for Spellbinders, this beautiful kind of sapphire blue. This is one color that I think we get a little bit more often, but we thought, oh, we really want to make it special. So I'm just doing the clear ones because this is just water splashing, but I'm using all the sizes, little tweezers, and just sprinkle them around, people, as many or as few as you want. Gotta have some on these layers down here. My ship is very splashy. Small one over there. One by my sentiment. Don't forget a few teeny tiny ones too. Teeny tiny ones are Josie's favorite. Sometimes she'll only use the teeny tiny. Okay, so needs more splash over here. Splashy enough? Maybe one more. Kind of like to do groups of 3. So there's 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Maybe I'll do one more. They don't always have to be groups of 3, but it is kind of pleasing. Fun! You could even do some on the hull of the ships, because obviously water can splash there too, but Okay, guys, I love it. So much fun. I say we call that one good for tonight. And again, my other card, I'm definitely going to be, I'm going to put my pin back in here, working on throughout the day tomorrow. But in the meantime, I hope you loved this little guy. Nicole, I think we'll go ahead and close. Should we call close comments now?
Yep, there's a couple
Give
still
Nicole,
put in.
okay, we'll give Nicole a little bit of time to kind of collate those. So we'll announce the winner a little bit later as Shannon starts crafting and whatnot. But hope you guys love my little cruise ship card. I'm going to kind of tidy my stuff off to the side here. And Miss Shannon, what do you think? Are we kind of on time, or do we have a little bit of time to kill? Or I don't want to start too early.
So a couple questions.
Yep.
Did Kim pop up the saffron part of the boat? They have a lot of questions about what you popped and how you popped.
Okay, I can go over that.
Yeah.
Got a few minutes before Shannon's scheduled to start, right? Because she starts at 7.
Yep.
So we got a couple minutes. Okay. Yes, I popped up the saffron. I did. I put foam squares behind this little guy, and then I just kind of use that to position when I put it inside the hull. So this is not officially popped up because this is flush to the sides. So that was just wet glue. So the hull or the bow of the ship. But then this guy is definitely popped up. So I think I would say everything's popped up on my card except this hull, but that kind of pops up on its own, right? It's kind of dimensional. Sentiment popped up, single layer here, double layer here. That allowed me to tuck my ship in. Does that help? I think everybody, hopefully. I know I'm kind of a little bit of a faster crafter, but hopefully you guys are catching up.
They love the gems. Love
I
the
know,
gems.
they're
Somebody
so
actually used them
sparkly.
on her nails.
That's super fun.
See if there's any other questions that popped up.
And by the way, we love the spray, and I just want to give a shout out to Hero Arts, both for the ink and the spray. I've just enjoyed using their products so much, but the spray does come in a lot of fun different colors too. So as you guys are checking out the Hero website, check out that metallic spray, and don't forget free shipping if you place an order. I don't want to be too salesy, but sometimes you want to try something and you like put it in your cart and you go, oh, shipping's like $9.99. I don't know. I don't feel like it, you know. So that's why we kind of think the free shipping is a fun way for you guys to be able to try some things. Or maybe try that A2 cardstock pack too. That would be really fun. We are going to be talking more about cardstock tomorrow when we introduce the color deck card. You guys got some of those fun expansion pack cards in your kit. So we'll be chatting about that more tomorrow.
Okay, couple of quick things.
Yeah.
We'll announce the winner here in just a second.
Okay.
The reason I'm like all over the place here is that there was a lot of questions about the cardstock and about where they can find this magical PDF, and I think it's on the retailer site, but it's not on the e-com site. So Erin is working on that, and we'll find a way to get that maybe
Okay,
on the...
I thought someone in our Facebook group did post a link,
Erin did
though,
say there's a lot in the
but-
Facebook group. So we don't have one on our website, but it sounds like maybe if we can go out to the Facebook group and kind of search there, or if whoever
Yeah.
posted it can post it again and, I don't know, tag one of us, and then we maybe tag Spellbinder Squad, and then she can pin it to the top. That
Yeah.
would be helpful. So that's that. One other thing is, I'm texting with Jennifer, and apparently her homework video was not ever posted. It got missed in our little base camp exchange. So Erin is posting that tonight as well.
No, I thought it was posted. I thought people said they watched it.
Erin
What?
didn't post it. I don't know what happened. Homework, like instructions, but the video sounds like maybe didn't get posted.
Oh,
So
really?
we're going to get the video posted tonight. But again, you guys have
Apologies, Jennifer. I thought that was
plenty of time
posted. Gotcha.
to go back and to watch that, and it'll be all good.
All right.
So, okay. Now, do you want to talk about the winner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see Nicole's face so she can announce the winner. Ooh.
So, okay, let me get back to my correct spreadsheet here. So, this winner's, I assume it's a woman, but this winner's answer is, my dream cruise is to be dancing with Derek, is it Huff? For an entire week, cruise to anywhere. He's the Dancing with the Stars little handsome
I
fellow,
think
isn't
so,
he?
yeah.
Yes, so that's why I thought it was a woman, but you never know. And that was BRTI's 8. So if that is you, you need to let us know. If you bought your kit from a store, then post out there who your store is. So go and put that in the comments for me and tag Spellbinders, and I will grab that. If you bought from us on the website, we need to find a way to find you. So I will work with Chantel and Erin and figure that out. So, but congratulations, you're the first winner. Yay! So vellum, cardstock, and more of those beautiful sapphire gems.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
Excellent. And y'all will have another chance to win during Shannon's class. So yay! I'm like yay. All right, so I think I'm going to tidy up. I'm going to have Shannon come in, and we'll have a couple minutes just to transition so she can get her fun little stuff set up, and then we'll be ready to go. So thank you guys so much. I will be popping back in later, I'm sure. I can never resist coming and saying hi. All right, Miss Shannon.
So
She's got a whole lovely basket here.
So
Come
I
on
have a
in.
lot of stuff, but you guys know that already.
Kim, when's your other quote unquote class going to be? It's going to be kind of peppered in tomorrow, right? Like throughout the.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll be peppering in. I'll probably start right after Yana's class in the morning. I'll do a segment of it, and then I'll just kind of be sprinkling it throughout the day.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And it's an easy card, so you got this.
Okay.
No super fancy techniques. So.
Love it.
Okay. We got a little extra time, which is always good for me since I always seem to run out. But I don't think we will have a hard time with this one because I did assign more homework than I normally assign. But if you don't have all the homework done, it was really just die cutting. It was just die cutting all of these die cuts for this card here. So it's very simple. It's not, it's a lot of die cutting, but there's no anything else. It's just all this here. And you might have time to kind of do some of this while we're doing the class, but this was your homework, die cutting these out. So I will be going from this point. I do want to, before we get going though, I do want to talk about kind of how we're going to do our projects. So these are our 2 projects that we're going to create today. If you're looking at the booklet, this one is listed first. But we are going to create this background and then set this card aside to dry, and then we'll start working on the background of this card. And if you do have the booklet out and you have been referring to it, I do want to note, and I did mention this in my Meet the Maker video, that we've changed the instructions this way to give you guys a little bit more of that beeswax cardstock. I was very greedy and used a whole A2 panel of it. So we're going to change it by creating our own yellow background with the Lemon Drop Reactive Ink included in your kit. And I actually love the way this turned out. I think I like it even better. And we get a little bit of technique in there, and you guys get to play with those reactive inks another way. And it's very simple. It's just with the water spots, kind of taking advantage of that water reactive property. And I love them, and I can't wait for you guys to try them out a little bit for this background. Okay, so we're going to start with this card. We'll create this background, and then we'll set it aside. We'll come back to the die cutting and putting it together. But we need that panel to dry, and I like to let it air dry if I can. It just helps prevent warping. So what you're going to need for this first part of our class is an A2 panel of watercolor paper. Now, if you don't have watercolor paper, you can still use heavyweight white cardstock. Kim showed that beautifully with her card, that you can use the Tone on Tone spray with just cardstock as well, but I do prefer the watercolor paper. I like the texture, and I also like how it holds up to a lot, because I do end up sometimes oversaturating. I'll try not to do that today, but it might still happen. We're going to create this fun, very easy, splishy, splashy, a little shimmery, because that's one of the beauties of this Tone on Tone spray, is it has the powder down at the bottom that gives it that shimmer. So, and I know Kim has talked about this before, but it is important to kind of bring it up again. The Tone on Tone spray has that powder in the bottom, and the best way to kind of get it mixed up is to not shake it up and down, but to shake it from side to side. That's the best way to mix this up and prevent clogging of your nozzle. Now, if you do get it clogged, it can be unclogged. In fact, this was clogged today, and all I did was take off the top, twist off the top, set it in a bowl of warm water for about an hour, and then I was able to kind of clean it out a little bit and get it unclogged. And I haven't had, I've taught classes with these. I've never been able to not unclog a nozzle. So I know they can be unclogged. Just takes a little bit of patience in letting that sit in warm water. I'm gonna double up my, I'm worried about making a mess. So I'm just so kind to let me be in the Weekender, and I'm always worried about making a mess in their beautiful studio because I'm gonna be spraying with this.
You know, this is your studio too.
It's too nice. That's the thing. I'm not used to it. It's so nice.
And I will say, speaking of the studio, somebody on here said congratulations on your win. So if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, you need to check out the cropped episode where Shannon went head-to-head with Bridget Casey from Alta New. It is a riot, and I don't want to spoil the ending, but I kind of just did. Anyway, carry on.
That was very fun. She did so good. It
was fun.
I shouldn't say. You got to watch it.
You gotta watch it.
All right, so I'm gonna spray like Kim did in her homework. She kind of talked about spraying. I should hold my spray here on camera so you can see. I'm going to be spraying from one direction, like from one side out, because I do want, like in here you can see the original, I do want it to be a little heavier and then lighter. I'm trying for that. This is very forgiving, so don't feel like we really just want to get some blue on the paper. That's really the goal. Get some of that beautiful blue on the paper so it's just not all white. And that is pretty good.
Oof, it's so pretty.
I'm going to even tap it because I want some of the drips. I like them. I think those are cool. So I'm just going to tap it here a little bit and get some of those drips. And maybe add just a tiny bit more to the top, and I think I'm going to call that guy done. So there we go. Really fun. Look at how pretty it is. Oh my gosh. And it's going to dry even more beautiful because that's when all the shimmer comes out, is once it's dry. All right, so I'm going to set this aside. So go ahead and set your panel aside. Set your spray aside, and I'm going to do a quick little cleanup. And then we're going to go to this card here. So we're going to jump to this card while that panel's drying. Oops. See? Making messes. And for this background, I am also going to use an A2 panel of watercolor paper, but this definitely does not have to be watercolor paper. Here I'm using it because I love the texture. I'm going for a stucco looking kind of background, and I just love that texture. But all we're doing here is ink blending with water spots, so we're not adding lots of water, so you don't need that. You don't really need that watercolor paper, but again, I just love the texture of it, so that's what I'm going to be using. And a real quick note on the watercolor paper I'm using, I think I mentioned it briefly, but I didn't talk about it. I am using Hero Arts Luxe White watercolor paper. I love it so much. It is very beautiful white. I'm going to pull over my panel here so you can see. This is going to dry so bright and beautiful blue because of it. And I use it for watercoloring my images. I just think it's such a pretty white watercolor cardstock. And this would be definitely a great one to pick up if you're interested in giving it a try with that coupon. This is a good one. I really stand behind it. I love it. Okay, so for this background, you're going to need your Lemon Drop reactive ink. Just going to grab mine out of the container. And I do want to note real quick about these inks. They're all reactive. So all of these inks can be activated with water. So that allows you to do tons of fun techniques with them. They're so cool. Again, I'm only scratching the surface with this one ink here. I do encourage you to play with it more. There's so many wonderful things. Check out some of the videos on Hero Arts YouTube channel if you're really curious. They're really awesome inks. And I'm gonna get a blending brush. I have it out already. I'm going to create a little gradation. You see on here on the original is a little bit darker and then lighter up at the top. So we are going to ink blend a gradation. So now load up my blending brush here.
They're admiring your manicure, by
Oh.
the way.
Thank you. I had to get them done again because they were overgrown, which is sad because I got them done just for this event earlier. And I got Bougainvillea color. I got this color here. And then, I don't know about you guys, I can't go back and get the exact same color. Even if it's red, like it's still going to be red, it's going to be a different red. I just can't do it. So I had to change. I felt terrible.
They still look pretty darn good to me. Pretty good coordinating. Good coordinating.
I love red nails. They're always my favorite. They're my go-to. So you should notice too while you're ink blending, so the reactive inks are a hybrid ink. They're a blend of dye and pigment. And they have a beautiful creamy consistency, so they blend really beautifully as well. So that's another reason why I love them. All right, I'm gonna turn this around here and grab something to hold. We'll use the cloth. I'll use that. Just to avoid picking up the ink on my fingers. I try. I'll still have inky fingers, but I don't want to remove the ink and make like fingerprint marks on my panel.
So, kind of a fun thing I wanted to share. Pamela said for the background in lieu of beeswax, she used a white background and then used a texture paste to create that stucco look.
Ooh,
cool, right?
I love that idea. Ugh, I love incorporating textures, even if it's just visual texture and not actual feel texture. It's one of my favorite parts about card making. Okay, so a little bit of water now. Ooh, my panel's like almost dry already. Wowee. All right, so I have just this is actually just a piece of laminated paper. This is going to be my slick surface because I'm going to spray some water down onto here. Just a pool of water that I can then grab a paintbrush, dip the paintbrush into the water, and then tap on it to release a splatter of water on my ink blended panel. So that's what I'm going to set up here. There we go. So just sprayed some water down onto a waterproof surface. I have a towel handy to pick up the activated water, or the activated ink rather. And I have a paintbrush here. This is what we're going to use to create our water spots. So just dipping it into the water, kind of loading up those bristles with that water. And now I will tap the brush on my finger to kind of release some water spots. This is adding that visual texture just a little bit. You won't be able to feel these water spots, but you'll be able to see them for sure, and they'll break up that ombre blend. Just add a little bit of interest. So I've added the water. Probably can't really tell because it's so light. Let's see if I can catch the light at all. Oh, there you go. You can catch some of the light on there. Oh yeah, there you go. So you can see there's lots of little water spots on there. I'm gonna place it down. That water's activating the ink, and I have a towel here. You could use a paper towel. I just have a cloth towel. Press it over. And then create some beautiful water spots. And they're subtle because it's such a light ink to begin with, but you're definitely adding some interest to that background. Really, really pretty. Okay, so now you can set that aside, and it'll actually those water spots will even become more visible as it dries too. All right, so let's get to the rest of that card, which is all the die cuts for that beautiful open window scene that we've created. So cute. Okay, so I'm gonna grab all my die cuts here. These are all the ones that we have for the homework. We are not just going to stick these together though. We have to, one thing we do have to do is create this little bit of sand here. We're gonna have to do that. And then once we create that, we're gonna do a little bit of ink blending to some of these die cuts to add some dimension to them. So I'm gonna hold this card so you can kind of see. Do you see the pots? I think the pots and the sand are where it's most noticeable. There's a little bit of ink blending, and that makes them look more rounded, a little aged as well. It's just a simple way of adding some depth to your die cuts. I love doing it. I almost can't resist doing it to every die cut. I held back on some of these. I didn't go crazy. I just did it to the flowers, the greenery, the leaves, the pots, and the sand, but it adds so much. Oh, actually into the light as well. Okay, so let's start with that sand we got to create. There's a couple ways to do it. You're going to need your cardstocks, your colored cardstocks. And I'm going to keep this on screen, so if you didn't do your homework, you can kind of be cutting along while you're following along. But we're going to grab the fawn cardstock. I love this color. I use it a ton. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. It's such a good tan. So pretty. In fact, we're going to use it again for our Chow card for her face. Beautiful color. And we use it for the arch here and for our little, kind of like our stones in the ground. So I think that there's two ways to do this. There's one way to do this with you trace and you cut, and you can also do this with your die. So I'm going to show this with the die, I think, but there's really two ways. So here's the die that I used to cut out. I'm going to scoot this down a little bit. This part right here. We need to make the sand go behind this piece and fit in the arch, which obviously this piece will fit right in that frame arch. So we can use that to actually die cut our sand layer. You can take this piece and just kind of help measure, and then you'll know where to tape your die. Something like that. Or you can trace. If you have a piece, just a pencil and some scissors, I'm going to grab mine here. And you can cut, because this is going to get covered up with this piece, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight or anything, so you can hold it over the fawn cardstock and trace around it. Either way will work. But I'm going to use the die cut way, because we got the die, might as well use it, right? Just take it as far as we can go. See, make sure I'm on screen so you guys can see. Obviously that's too big. I'm just going to grab my little piece here to kind of help me. We can even make a, well, I guess we can't make a measurement because we'll be covered up, but there we go. And if it's too big, you can always trim it down. I'd rather have it be too big than too small because I can trim it down. Grab a little piece of tape. Make it straighter. See how we did. Pretty good. I think I can do a little bit better. Okay. I think that's going to be perfect. Okay, I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. You could also inlay. That's a whole nother way to do this, to add that sand, but this is the much easier way. This or the tracing, either one of those will work. If you do the inlay, you would have a harder time doing the ink blend too. All right, that piece is cut out. see if I can remove the tape. I gotta grab my tweezers. Here we go. I'm nothing without my tweezers.
That's your tool of choice. And you like reverse tweezers, right?
Yes.
Yes. We had a great debate about that the other day.
They gotta be reverse.
Mm-hmm.
I can't take tape off now. I can't take backing off of foam adhesive without it. I used to never use these too, that's the craziest part. I never understood why people use them. And then I tried them out and I started to get slowly hooked. Look at that, it lined up perfectly, so good. So now that we have that sand layer done, I don't know why I'm calling it sand. It's more like a cobblestone.
They were like, wait, is the wall made of sand?
I don't know why. In my head, because it's sand color, I guess, that's just...
It can be made with whatever y'all want.
So now that we have that cut out, we are going to do some ink blending. Let's start with everything that we're going to ink blend with brown. And I do have 4 colors picked out. Now I know I had a lot of questions during my Meet the Maker about my inks. They do not have to be these exact shades. Really, I'm sure most of you have something in your stash already that will work. I'm of course going to use Hero Arts inks. I'm using Hero Arts Core inks because there's just a greater selection of colors that way. But any inks will work. I used to have here we go. I had swatched them out too so you guys can see what I'm using. Again, I'm only using these colors to ink blend the die cuts to add a little depth to them. And I just picked out 4 colors, and again, they do not have to be exactly these shades. I do recommend the darker colors. Go for a darker yellow, a darker green, a darker maroon. Most of the time though, that shade already. And then a darker brown. That way they show up. Let's start with everything we're going to ink blend with our brown, which in this case is going to be Cup of Joe. We're going to ink blend that, not sand, cobblestone background, and the pots with the brown. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab this guy. He's going to be handy to hold these in place while I ink blend on them. If you don't have a stamp wheel or a grip mat or something like that, a sticky surface, you can also just use your tape runner and run some tape down onto your work surface and then stick your die cuts to that. That works too. Try to keep this still on screen for some of you guys who are maybe frantically die cutting things out before we put it all together. And I'm just gonna ink blend the bottom, create a gradation. And the nice thing is this is gonna get covered with that next layer, so it doesn't have to be a perfectly smooth gradation. If you're not the world's best ink blender, no fears. I'm not either. So a little bit of blend on there is perfect. Get my tweezers. So something like that. Just a pretty little gradation to add some depth to that layer in our scene. And then we're gonna ink blend those pots as well. Let's stick him down there. I love doing this cinnamon cardstock. This one also is another one of my favorites. It's the perfect terracotta color. It's perfect. And I just ink blended those. They look nice and naturally aged.
I love the difference. I mean, I'm lazy, so I usually don't do it, but it's just such a game changer to just do a little bit of inking on your die cuts. It just creates a totally new look.
I love it. I think it steps up the realism, and I think it's like that secret sauce that people like go, what did you do? Why does it look like that? It's just a little bit of ink blending. Okay, so we're not done with our ink blending. We did our pot. Actually, I'll put them on here. I don't know why I'm putting them off screen. We'll put him right there. Now we're going to move on to our next color. Let's do the yellow before we get all dirty. So I did die cut the lantern base out of the beeswax, but this could be done on white and then ink blended with the lemon drop. That might even be better because then it'll match the background. We're going to ink blend this with spicy mustard. Oh, I can't open it. This is a new one. They're always a little tricky the first time you open them. There we go. And they get easier the more you use them. This is going to create that beautiful glow that you see in the lantern. Just going to ink blend a little gradation the best I can. It's teeny tiny, but more at the bottom and then lighter at the top. Oh yeah, that looks good. Oh, it's going to make such a big difference. And I'll pick this up and kind of hold up so you guys can see. Just a pretty little gradation on that. Really nice. That's going to look really great layered behind the rest of the lantern. Now we're going to move on to the greenery. So these are all for the bougainvillea. I die cut, for the leaves of the bougainvillea rather, I die cut just the flowers again out of green. So it's just the exact same die, just die cut one out of the mulberry and then one out of the rainforest. No, peridot. Wait, I can't remember.
Which one is it?
The green.
That's rainforest.
Rainforest.
I think, from what I can see from
here.
here.
Yeah,
yes.
I think it is. I can't remember. Alright, so those are our little greenery pieces. We're going to ink blend this with our green, our pine. I keep not remembering to leave my spot open there. Now for these, we'll start with the easy one, which is this little set of leaves that go inside one of the pots. We're going to create a little gradation on that so it's darker at the bottom and lighter towards the top. Ooh, that guy's juicy. And then for this one here, just don't ink blend, create a gradation. I'm just going to pick one side and kind of ink blend and start up. There's no way we're going to ink blend each individual leaf. That's not happening. Even that would be ideal. We're not doing that. That's impossible. So just create a little gradation that will add interest to it. So just pick one side, kind of ink blend. You can even do a little bit on another side. The only thing you want to be careful is don't completely cover it with your green ink. You want it to have some contrast, some variation in that color. Look at that, it's gonna look so cool when we put down the bougainvillea flowers on top. So I'm gonna do something similar to this one here, this long skinny one. He's looking very nice. I like that. And then a little bit to this guy here. Oh, this is gonna look so good. I can't wait to put it together. Just a little bit on that one too. Keeping some of the lighter green as well. Okay, those are all our greenery pieces done. Now the last bit of ink blending we have are our flowers, our bougainvillea flowers. And that's where we're going to use that raspberry jam. And not only are we going to ink blend these mulberry ones, or the bougainvillea, we're also going to ink blend this little cluster of flowers that was die cut out of the poppy with the raspberry jam as well. Okay, load it up. Same thing that we did with these greenery pieces. We're going to kind of randomly ink blend over this. Just don't want to completely cover it.
They're loving this, by the way.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Such a difference.
Just wait till we put it together.
Cruise with hero inks and cardstock.
Best cruise ever. Oh my gosh, it's so good. All right, and then I'll do a little bit. I'm going to be very light because this is a much darker color than the poppy cardstock, so I'm just going to be very light with it. just a little bit. Especially till I kind of get my bearings. Like, how's that looking with... I can handle a little bit more. Because again, I don't want to lose that beautiful color. I just want to create a little depth to it, a little variation. Okay, that is it. That's all the ink blending we're going to do. Oh, they're going to be so good.
And I will say to you all watching, Shannon's a pro at this. She does make it look easy. Just remember, you can come back and rewatch and watch and do all those things. So, I like what...
Tell us about your brother's crew.
Oh, yes. Okay, I was telling them earlier that my brother, he's been gone for over a month. And I'm the oldest. Many of you might not know this about me. I'm from a big family. I have 5 kids in my family total. I'm the oldest. My brother's the youngest, and he's the only boy. So was he coddled? Absolutely. Was he my kind of baby? A little bit. I was 14 when he was born, so I was older. He just went away for over a month to Japan. He flew there first, traveled there for weeks, and now he's taking a cruise back. He started in Japan. He's taking a cruise all the way back to California. So he's been gone a long time, and I think he's, because he has no cell service when he's on the cruise, so he's been limited, been able to reach him. So we think he's coming back tomorrow, but we're not sure. Of course, we'll expect a call if he needs to be picked up or something. But yeah, I'm really excited to see him back, and I can't wait to see some of his pictures and hear what he shared everything on Instagram with us, so that was really nice. But yes, we do miss him, and I can't wait to have him home again. But I can't imagine how amazing that trip must have been. I'm so envious. All right, we're gonna put this card together. I think we can go ahead and put this one together, and then we'll go back to card number 1. So we kind of went all out of order, but totally fine. Doesn't matter, because my panel is pretty much all dry, and I love how it looks. I definitely went a little crazy with the spray. I probably did more than I should, but I'm okay with it because I love the blue, and I do love the drips. I just think that's adds some visual interest, and it's going to be really fun with the Chow die cuts. Okay, so let's put this guy together. We can start by actually adhering our panel onto our card base. I'm going to grab some liquid glue here. And just keep an eye on the time. Oh, we're doing... That can't be right. That can't be right. It's not 7:18, is it? My phone is being bad.
It's 7:18. Yeah, you're fine.
What? We're... What?
Well, they did comment. She's flying.
I am flying. I need to slow down. I'm sorry. Usually, I'm not used to having all the die cuts cut out with us, but I think it just saves a lot of confusion having it die cut out beforehand. All right, so we're going to start now that we've got that glued. We're going to assemble our frame here. We're going to start by our arch. Start by adhering this guy down. So this one is cut out of the fawn again. And there was some confusion about this one. This larger arch piece is fog, but if you ended up cutting out of the white, that's totally okay. It's not going to be a bad, it's still going to look awesome. Line that up. Okay. This is going to get nestled inside, and then we'll glue it all together on the card base. But before we do that, we can actually even use the doors to help us glue it together. We're going to put together our little scene. So you need your clouds, your ocean, and that layer I kept calling sand, and that cobblestone layer. Let's go ahead and glue that cobblestone layer right onto the sand. There we go. All right, I'm gonna stick that down. that down just for a second. Perfect. And we're gonna work bottom up. That's just the best way. So I'm gonna separate these two for now. And this is cut out of Windy, which is a beautiful light blue. I love that one. Just glue down that cobblestone part of the scene. Make sure everything's lined up. You can always use the tabletop to make sure that it's nice and level. Then, because we cut out our background out of that windy color, it'll work beautiful as the kind of the wave details, adding that blue to the wave details in that ocean die cut. Stick that down. And we're not done with these die cuts either, adding some additional interest. We have one more element to the die cuts that we're going to add that I love to do as well. But we'll do that last. That's the one thing I like to do last, so I don't mess it up. Well, don't get it everywhere. Now the clouds, he gets just butted up to the water. And look at that, all of a sudden we have this beautiful scene. Isn't that crazy? It's happened so fast. Comes together so nice. Okay, you can nestle that inside. They almost just kind of stay together because they're have the arch sides kind of hold everything. Now we're going to move on to the doors. So there's the details for these doors. The doors are cut out of Cascade, I believe, and then the details are out of Cosmic Blue, which is the same blue as the ocean. We're going to adhere those together. I'm going to move this over so I don't have to bring everything over here. Or just start by gluing the details onto the doors. And the die is one die. It's so smart. There's one die that you flip that will cut the other part. So you have two. Very, very clever. I think I need maybe a tiny bit more glue. And you know what? Let's use our tweezers. Oh, where did they go? There they are. And the die cuts or kind of imprints, debosses, I guess, where these details go. So that should be really easy to see where you're going to put them. Pop those in. There we go. And there we have one door done. Just repeat that process for our other one. Takes all my concentration to do these. Gluing. Isn't that silly? There we go. Last one.
They're just loving it. They're like, it's so peaceful.
Oh, good.
It's so beautiful. Some were getting some San Diego Coronado vibes.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think of that. As Arizonians, we go to San Diego quite often. It's pretty like the closest beach we can get to. All right. Door number 2 done. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and glue that lantern together because he's going to be glued on in just a second as well. I do think I end up cutting some of the top part off, but we'll see. We will see once we stick this down, if I feel like I need to. Oh, and I love that little bit of ink blending in there. That lantern it looks so good. Okay, let's pull this over. Let's see. I think actually that looks great. I'm not going to cut it at all. I'm just going to go ahead and glue this guy down. And he's actually going to hold, he's going to help to hold everything together too, as well. I'll have to show you my glue trick when we get to the second card. I have a fun liquid glue trick that I love liquid glue. And I found this is a great way to kind of reduce any of that kind of squishing out, over glue. But we haven't needed to really do it here. Okay, so let me bring over my card so we can see where we're going. These are going to go here. This will also hold in that scenery piece, though it's staying pretty well in there. But we don't want to glue this down until we have the steps done, because that steps really help determine where those doors are going to go. So let's do our steps real quick. You have a base for the steps, which was anchor, and then fog for the tops of the steps. So we're just going to glue those down real quick. These would have been another one that would be really fun to ink blend. I didn't do any ink blending on these steps, but that would be a great place to do a little ink blending and add some gradation. They would look very cool, more dimensional. So here you can see why we want to make sure we do those steps first, because they're going to go over that part right there. So add a little liquid glue to the bottom of the scene. And glue those steps down. Once I glue these down, I'll hold up to the camera so you guys can see maybe a little bit better where I place them. There we go. Basically covered up all of that thick anchor, thick gray cardstock that was down there. Cute! It's really coming together. Oh my gosh, I love it. Now we're gonna finish with our doors. So you can go ahead and add glue all to the complete backside of those doors. And again, these can be used to kind of hold everything together. I like to have them actually extend past the frame of the window a little bit, but this is your scene. You can do it however you like. That is really the final touch that it really needs. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. I love this die set. It's so fun. Cute. It'd be fun to do a gradation back here instead of colored cardstock, almost like a sunset. Somebody please do that. I want to see that card. You could take out the clouds. That's the beauty of this set. You have a lot of play with the scene. All right, so we're gonna put this on our card base. I'm just gonna glue it down, but you can pop it up with foam adhesive if you want. But before we glue it down, we do need to stick down these little cobblestone pieces. Let me move them over here. So there's a die that cuts out all these little almost pavers or cobblestone pieces out. We want to kind of glue those down, but it's best to have your scene made so you better know where you're going to place them. So I'm going to pick them up here, maybe pick them up. I'm going to place them around here. I'm going to use them all. And I'm not trying to recreate the same arrangement the die had them. I'm just going to place them down. So don't feel like you have to, there's only one way these go. Just make them in a pleasing way for you. This grounds the scene a little bit, otherwise it almost looks like it's floating. So this really helps to ground it. I'm gonna put this one over here. There's one teeny one and I'm always like, where am I gonna put him? He's so small. All right, so I kind of like that placement. I'm going to then just glue those down. Get that out of the way. If you had press and seal, you could pick them all up with press and seal. I love press and seal. I use it a lot too. Just gonna add a little dab of glue right down. I think if I was at home, I'd be listening to some nice instrumental music. When I was in college, the film Amelie came out, and I was obsessed with that film. And I went to this was a long time ago. I went to like Barnes and Noble, because that's where people bought CDs back then.
Oh my God, they used to have a huge CD section.
Yes, and I got like a Parisian, cafe. It was all I learned something with that CD. That Parisian music is some of it, and I'm not definitely no expert, but it's heavy on the accordion. And it started to sound a little like an Oom-Pah-Pah band music sometimes, which I do love. I love, but it's like, wow, didn't realize like accordion is in a lot of cultures, I think, for music. Okay, I think those are glued down. I'm just going to do a little shifting if they're not completely set. But I would definitely have some. We are big in my family of like theming. So if we have a theme, we're going to find music and we're going to listen to that music while whatever theme we're doing. We do parties for Christmas, like themed after movies and stuff, and so.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's fun.
I love a theme. You know that. Big fan.
All right, we're gonna glue this guy down. Just lost my glue. Here it is, right in front of my face, of course, where it always is.
Okay, Melissa. Melissa was wondering. She goes, is she popping it up or gluing it down?
I'm gonna glue it down, but you can
down.
pop yours up if you want. I'm just gonna glue it down. I end up popping up the pots though, so you do get some pop.
Yes, like make them like foregroundy a little bit, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
Okay, that guy's done. All right, now we're going to move on to the flowers. We can go ahead and glue those down, starting with the greenery pieces. Kind of arrange them, see where they go. Oh gosh, they're looking so good already with that little bit of ink blending. Okay, pop them down. Add some little dabs of glue. Let's keep them on the card though. And we'll put this one down.
So Ella's making all of the other people jealous because she says, and she recognizes it. I am so lucky. As I craft along, my husband is helping die cut the cards.
Oh, wait a minute. I need to like screenshot this and send this to my husband. He needs to know that this happens and now it's expected. He might craft along with me, but man, to have somebody die cut for you, that's pretty nice.
Yes, it is.
All right, so the bougainvillea, I do want to make sure I don't just line them directly up because then we'll lose all the greenery. So you do want to offset them from the greenery piece. It's the only part you have to make sure you do. So you can see the greenery just like that. Now you can still see lots of the leaves. They're still poking out. Same with this, and I might even just flip this completely around. That helps to make sure they don't line up too. Cute, there we go. All right, now for our pots. So the big pot here gets the last 2 bougainvillea pieces. I'm gonna go ahead and layer them together. So I'm just gonna put the flowers on top again, kind of doing it offset so you can see the leaves. There we go. And then that gets glued onto your pot. But I should probably hold it for a second. I'm just going to hold it for a second there. Let that glue stiffen up. Perfect. And then we're going to add some foam adhesive to the back side of this pot. Grab some foam adhesive here. Now I need 2 tweezers. At home, you better believe I have at least 4 different tweezers. Gotta have backups.
There's a lot of other people that share your. Like, I have 5 pairs, I have 3 pairs.
All right. I think I probably need to change where I put some of these foam adhesive. Put it there. So just for reference, I have them on the right side. That's going to make sure it clears the steps. And that just looks like, makes it look like that bougainvillea is growing from the pot out. All right, and our last little pot here. Ooh, look at you. Stay. I probably need more glue for you. This guy's gonna get glued in. So these pots are awesome. They have the openings in them, so you can actually tuck in that greenery piece. So I'm gonna do that. Tuck that in. Hold that just for a second to let that glue set up. And then we'll glue our flowers down on top. Though I love it just with the, that's another option too, is just have it just the, no flowers, just the leaves. That'd be very cute as well. Goes down. So pretty. Okay, and this also gets popped up with some foam adhesive. So this time we're gonna go on the left side.
So, a couple requests to slow down a beat.
Sure.
But, you know. So, I have a question. Actually, I have a thing in front of me called a computer with the Googles, and I can look it up. But we're kind of spoiled because bougainvilleas grow here in Arizona, but do they grow everywhere? Or are they just...
I did see them in
spell it.
Hawaii. It's a very weird way of spelling. It's like B-O-U... I have it written down.
Okay, I have it. B-O-U-G-A-I-N-V-I-L-L-E-A. Bougainvillea. Okay, where do they grow? Oh, they're native to Brazil. Okay, I'm going Wikipedia, so I don't know if it's totally right, but... They're native to Brazil, Bolivia, Paraguay, Peru, and Argentina. Okay. We don't live there, so... How did they get here? They are thorny. Pretty much like every other plant in Arizona that will bite you back. They have some nasty thorns on them.
They are thorny. They are. I forgot about that. But we planted them for that reason, actually. It's protection.
Oh, here it says. They're popular ornamental plants in most areas with warm climates, including Florida, South Carolina, South India, California, I'll throw in Arizona, and across the Mediterranean basin.
Oh.
There you go. Okay. Oh, and some people say they're in Georgia.
Oh.
The Canadians are like, yeah, no.
Yeah, I've seen them in Hawaii, but they're probably not native there. All right, I did have white cardstock. So we're now going to stamp our sentiment. We still have one more thing we're going to do to the flowers, but before we do that, we're going to stamp our sentiment. So you're going to need to get that stamp set out. Had it here earlier. Escape the Ordinary sentiments. Some white cardstock.
Do you need some?
Ah, I found it. I can never find anything, especially when it's right in front of my face. So grab this over. Just some black cards, some black ink is all you need. I chose the Escape the Ordinary, but this is your card. You can pick whatever one you want. I'm gonna stick with the same thing. I think the Travel Far Enough to Meet Yourself is a good one too. Yeah, I'm gonna pick this up with my Misty. Ink it up in a black ink. I'm using Hero Arts Intensified Black. Stamp that. Oh, that looks great. I'm gonna do one more time. Go a little darker. There we go. Now we are gonna die cut this out. So you need to grab the dies. I'm going to clean my stamp though and put it away before I do that. And that, surprisingly, is the only stamping we're doing the whole time.
Converting Shannon.
I know.
to die cutting.
I do love die cutting. It's an easy, easy to convert. Grab the coordinating dies. And this is the one right here. Hopefully.
Yeah, that's part of the challenge. Which one fits?
I picked one that had a pretty unique kind of shape.
Play
so
the
that
game.
helped.
Get it to fit.
Grab some tape to hold it in place. There we go. This is where I like take my time. I don't want to have to do it again. And plus if I don't get it lined up good and it's off, it'll drive me insane. So I'm going to run that through.
So for those of you that are a little worried about the giveaway prompt, we haven't done it yet. You will know. So don't worry. We're waiting for Shannon's next card.
Yeah.
So it's thematic.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Hint, hint, hint. Subtle hint. Okay, I'm going to put that down. So there it is all die cut out. It looks great. Now we can put those away as well. We are done with that. We're not using that again today. Now I'll grab my cards, bring them back on screen. So this is going to be kind of placed to the right, overlapping the window a little bit. We're going to use some foam adhesive for this as well. I'm going to try to only put the foam adhesive though kind of behind where the E is and over here behind the ARY in Ordinary. That way we leave a little space for the thickness of the door. Grab my squares. So basically either end, really. That's probably the simpler way to say that. Let's grab a strip. That'd be nice for that part.
Have to show me up, Shannon. Got the strips.
I love the strips. I use them all the time. And remove the backing. Where did I put it before? Something like that. Cute. All right, the last thing. One final thing. And I forgot to mention this in my homework, but I hope most of you have this already. I apologize, I have a sneeze that wants to come, but not really. You're gonna need a white gel pen. We're gonna add a little detail to the flowers. We're just gonna drop in a little bit of that white gel pen to add the flower centers. It's very effective on the bougainvillea. If you've ever seen a bougainvillea, you can see that they have the white like stamen in the center of them, and I feel like that, like it had to have it. And then once I saw it on the bougainvillea, I felt like I had to do it over here to the red flowers. So then I went a little crazy, but it's fun to add, and I think it just steps it up to that next level. I am using a Jelly Roll number 10. If you've had trouble with white gel pens in the past, I do recommend, they come in different sizes, the kind of the tip or the point, and the 10 is a larger opening, and it just really helps to prevent it from clogging. I have no problem with 10s. Most of the ones that you find out there are 8s or 5s. 10 is awesome. I love it so much. Just get it going, and we're gonna start popping in these flower centers. And the dye does create a little cut for the center, but I think the white really just makes it so visible and really makes them pop. If you don't have a white gel pen, you could definitely use like enamel dots or something like that, but there are a lot, so I'm afraid that would take so many. You could also use like pearls. Pearls would work too.
That'd be fun.
Like liquid pearls.
We have some, don't we, on Hero? Yeah.
Yes, we do.
The white pearls would be really easy and fun.
And they'd even be more dimensional.
You've got there's a lot of polarization here when you're talking about the gel pens. People love them or hate them.
I know.
But that was a good tip on the size, because I have struggled in the past as well, but I think I was using the wrong size.
It's a game changer for me. I used to hate that, and I'd see people have beautiful white gel pen highlights that they'd add, and I'm like, that's impossible. I can never get a nice flow with my gel pen. I'm never going to be able to do that. And then I discovered, actually at a trade show once, they had pens out for people to try, and of course it was Jelly Roll, and I was like, okay, let's see. And they were all 10s. And I was like, okay, well, now I know. Now I know the secret is a 10. All right, and after you do the little white gel pen to the centers, you are all done with this card. That was the last step. Super fun. Love the background. I think it actually is an improvement from the beeswax. It adds more interest. Some beautiful texture with the water spots, though I did get more water spots on this one. But either way, I did get a better gradation on this one, so. Isn't that funny how it can be different even though it's the same person making the cards, same supplies. So super fun. Love this die set. It's just really cute. I can't wait to see some people kind of swap things out and create different scenes in here, because that is fun. I've already seen people make like a, what do you call those? A topiary lemon tree. I was like, that's brilliant. With this little die here, that greenery, they doubled it up so it made like a ball. Oh, I was like, that's so clever. I just love that stuff. I love it when people get creative with their products. It's so fun to see how they approach it. All right, we're gonna move on to card number 2, or back to, I guess, no, this is card number 1. We're gonna go back to this card. Your panel should be dry. Mine's totally dry, but again, I'm in Arizona, so things dry here a lot faster than other places. If yours is not dry, you can hit it with your heat tool. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down onto our card base. And that'll get it to kind of lay flat. Another trick, actually I'll show it while I'm on camera, while I'm here. And I have the die cutting machine here. Poor Gavin, I'm going back and forth, back and forth. Another way to kind of flatten out your panel if it's a little warped, can you see mine's a little warped, is to run it through your die cutting machine. It works great. Of course, you want to make sure it's dry. Just run it through, no dye, of course, just the paper and your plates. And look at that.
Uh-huh.
We did not know. We did not know that.
Well, now you know. It's a good trick.
Jeez, that's a good one.
All right, I'm going to glue this down.
You guys are funny. Woo! This is exciting stuff in here, people.
Pros learn something.
Pro tip. Mm-hmm.
Hold that down just a second.
I think while that's drying, we should talk about a giveaway.
Oh!
Did we tell Shannon what her prompt was, Kim?
No.
Surprise! Oh, goodness. Well, I think, because Erin's going to have a similar one tomorrow, so I'm going to keep mine very pasta focused. So, because this is all about pasta, I do feel like people have a favorite pasta shape.
Oh.
Is that a thing? I think it's a thing.
Yeah.
My husband does. His favorite is penne. He always wants penne on everything. But I know there's a lot of like science, like you use certain pastas with different sauces because it holds and the ridges and the na-na-na-na. Whatever. What's your favorite? What do you love? Do you love your little orecchiettis, your little ears? Do you love your bucatinis? Do you know what a bucatini is? Nice thick noodle. Spaghetti, angel hair, you tell me. This is the giveaway question, y'all. So tell me what your favorite pasta is. All right, carry on.
I'm very curious to hear what people's... Penny is my husband's favorite too. I like penne, but I'd pick something else over. I like the wheels. And,
What are those called? Like, I'm sure there's some fun
yeah,
name.
I'm sure it's not
Josie would know.
wagon
She's a dog.
wheels. And then there's ones that are really spirally. It's not the twisty ones that you'd have in like a pasta salad. There's some that are really spirally and thick. I like those ones too. Basically, I like a thick noodle.
So the wheels. Oh my gosh, they have so many names on the Googles. And it says Rotel, maybe? Is that what that
Oh,
is? I don't know.
I have no idea. Okay, so now that we've got this glued down, we're gonna start die cutting all the pieces out. So this wasn't homework, so we're gonna do it together. Let's start with the face. We're gonna die cut that out with Fawn. So you grab your piece from earlier. Oops. Thank you, Deb. Always dropping things.
Oh, the cavatappi? Is that what it is? The spirally
I
one?
think that is. That sounds
They're
familiar.
big. They're chunky. They're big,
Yes,
chunky ones.
they're chunky ones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, got the face in there on the fawn. I'm going to die cut that out. And so ironic, I just made last night bolognese.
Oh.
Woo! I always do that. I'm always throwing the plates. With rigatoni. Rigatoni's a good one too.
Yep, it's popping up. Mm-hmm. Fettuccine.
All right, let's see our lips now. So there's a kind of a bat base for the lips, which is going to be like what you're going to see between the lips. So could envision it as black or white. I went with white for kind of like teeth, but it could probably makes even more sense black, but that's what I did. So I'm sticking with it. So we're going to start with that and just die cut that out of white. There.
If anybody's a Seinfeld fan, Gavin, I know what you're thinking. Are you thinking it, Gavin? Fusilli Jerry? Did anybody watch Seinfeld? And they,
I did, but I'm not.
Kramer made a statue out of Jerry made of fusilli. It was fusilli Jerry. Okay, maybe I'm the only one, but it's funny. Okay, it's getting late here, so maybe I'll just be quiet for a while.
And now we're gonna grab Poppy, our beautiful red. That was the nail color. I went with a different cardstock for inspiration with my nails. Love this color. I did pretty darn good. This one is for the lips. So we're gonna die cut that out. We did use this technically earlier with your homework for the flowers. We're using it again here for one of the small little grouping of flowers. Hey, you. Stop moving around. There we go. All right. Did I lose my white one? Oh, geez. Oh, there it is underneath everything. Probably should grab that tray out again because that was helpful for me not to lose stuff. Well, I lost the tray.
Lost the tray.
I'm sure it's just underneath here. I did, I lost it. All right, well, we're almost done. The last part is all the spaghetti, the pasta. Thank you, that's perfect. Thank you, Deb. So helpful. That's so I don't lose anything. All right. Let's put some of these dies away real quick. So the spaghetti is going to be the beeswax. Now it is a kind of a, it's not really a large die, but it can take up a, if you're not careful with how you place it, it can take a big chunk of your beeswax, to, even though it's just a small string. So if you want to be conservative with your beeswax, this might be where you use a different yellow, or I think Kim used saffron. I think that would work too. It's a slightly darker. That would work as well. So there's no reason why you have to use beeswax for the pasta. All right, so I'm gonna grab my, oh yeah, so here's, I got the cardstock here. So that's the saffron. And I had the beeswax earlier. Let's see where I put it. Here it is. I mean, you can't even tell really for how small it is. See, the saffron would work totally perfectly fine as well. So if you want to try to be conservative with the beeswax for other projects, that's what I would recommend to do. But I'm still going to position these dies to be the most economical with my beeswax as possible. So really get these all close together. I wonder if we can, makes any sense to tuck it in there a little bit. There we go. So I have all three, the chow, the two other pieces, the two other dies for the spaghetti. We're going to die cut all of that out of the beeswax or the saffron. I even think the Tuscan would work too, which is the more mustardy yellow, which happens to be one of my favorites. Can you tell I like all the muted colors? I take it back because I like Poppy. Poppy's really bright. All right, run that through.
We're all getting hungry for pasta now, just
Yeah.
so you know.
I'd be curious if anybody makes their own. I have never made my own. My mom makes some sometimes. She loves it.
It is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. But it's kind of, it's a fun thing to do, like, as a family, you know, like a family night or whatever, but, yeah.
I think my daughter would love it.
Not something you want to do on a Tuesday night.
Where everybody's hungry and you just want to eat.
I've made my own and it's so good.
Is
You make
it?
But it's, yeah, a lot of work.
A lot of work. But it cooks so fast. That's the
Yeah, it
crazy
does.
thing. It's like it's in the water
Oh.
for 2 minutes and it's, done.
That's cool. That's true because it's not all didn't get all dry. Well, I've lost my eye somehow.
Okay, so Mindy says today it needs to be gnocchi because today is the International Day of the Potato.
Oh,
Who knew that? That's pretty funny.
Did not know that. Yesterday was Wednesday night was National Hamburger Day.
Mmm.
So we went out and had hamburgers.
That's fun. See, you love a theme. I
Oh
love
yeah,
it.
I do. I do. All right. I lost my. Is it stuck in my die? Where is it? I'm gonna have to die. Oh, it's stuck in my die. I found it.
Oh, they called it. It's still in the die.
They are so smart. He's like a little spaghetti-o.
Okay, so I am terrible with plants, but I know that I have some plant lovers in the room and Aaron online. So Teresa said, a pro tip, use cooled pasta water in your plants.
What?
What? She swears by it.
I'm gonna tell my
So there
husband
you
to
go.
do that. That sounds. Yeah, that makes sense.
Starch in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. I do not have a green thumb. The girls know. They tried to put a plant in my office. And I said, do not. And they said, don't worry, we'll water it. Well, and now I have an artificial one.
We gave up.
They
I
know.
killed.
Don't even try.
What is it? Snake. There's like one that's supposed to not be able to kill, and I think it's the. I hate to say it. I know it is mother-in-law tongue, but I think it's also the snake plant.
Nicole killed one of those. That was her
Yeah,
first
I
one.
killed that one too.
Hey, I told you it was going to happen. I know I have a succulent in my office right now that's not doing well. I mean, those are literally the easiest things to keep alive, and it's not doing well. Anyways, I digress. Carry on.
All right. Well, we are pretty much ready to put this together. We are cruising. Hopefully.
Done early.
I know we're gonna get done a little early.
We've got some people that are on East Coast and in other time zones, so they probably will appreciate that.
I'm gonna go ahead and glue the face down to our card front. I love how the die creates the impression of where to put the mouth. That just takes all the guesswork out of that. I love that. So it's very simple to figure out where to put that mouth. But we're gonna layer those pieces together first. So I'm gonna start with the white and then put the red lips on top. These lips would be another good thing to do a little ink blending on if you ever wanted to add a little depth to them. There we go. I'm just gonna put a little glue on the face right where that mouth's supposed to go. I love this red, the tan, and the blue from our Tone on Tone spray. So pretty. Really, really striking. Oh my gosh, the drips. I love the drips. Okay, so now I can show you my fun, my little tip for liquid glue when you have something very delicate and fine like this, very fine die cut. We're going to start with this one because this is the one that goes straight from her mouth. And if you want, you can kind of put what could help too before we start doing the glue. And I'm going to add a little tape here just to hold my card down. It might help to kind of lay things out just so you have a better idea of where that's going to go. This part, they're intended to overlap each other a little bit. So don't be surprised that that's intentional. If they seem too long or too big, that's intentional for them to overlap. So I want that chow to be somewhat in the center. You know what we can do first? Actually, I just had an epiphany. we'll glue the shelf down first, but we'll just leave the top part open. Okay, so we just won't put glue at the very tip top. All right, so let me show you my glue trick. First thing we're gonna do is just add glue to the back side. I'm using liquid glue. Now I'm having, you know, it's just a natural, it's not this fine thing, so some parts are gonna have, again, I'm gonna be careful not to put glue at the very top part of the C. We'll glue that down later. Okay, so putting glue on something fine like this, you're probably gonna have globs in places, so it's too much. So if you were to just stick it right down onto your card front, it's gonna squish out, you're gonna have too much glue, it's gonna be excess glue. So what you do after you put the glue on the back side of your die cut, take a spot over here, like a scrap piece of paper. I'm just gonna use this portion of the work surface, tap off, kind of press off the excess. There's still plenty of glue on here. Move that just a second. And then I'll stick it down. And there's still gonna be plenty of glue on here, and you'll have way less of that glue kind of squirting out and getting everywhere. Now we're gonna do this piece here. Same thing. Glue on the back side. Go over to my scrap area here, press off the excess glue. I'm doing it far away just to prevent maybe getting it everywhere. Here's where I need double tweezers. We're going to lift this up a little bit. And you might need a little shifting here and there to get it lined up perfectly. It is pretty thin, so it's not too difficult to kind of bend it and get it the way you want. Oops. I had glue on my finger. There we go. Okay, and now I'm going to add a little glue. And I'm just going to add it to my finger. Just put it on the back side of that little piece. And I wonder how I get glue on my fingers. That's how. Cute. Okay, press that down. That looks great. All right, now we're gonna move on to the last part. This guy here. Look at that. Oh, I love it with the drips. I like both, but the drips are very cool too. Same thing, add the liquid glue to the back side and grab my tweezers. That helps to hold it. Tap off that excess. It is popping off of that blue. It looks
Cute.
so pretty. And you might end up having, I have a little, I mean really a tiny microscopic amount of overhang right here. So I'm just gonna cut that off. Let's grab our scissors. And that actually, oh no, we have the O. I almost forgot, or the tittle for the I.
The Spaghetti-O.
Yes. Ah! And I almost lost them. There we go. I knew something was missing.
So somebody posted a fun idea, which I think I've seen in the group, with putting like glaze and glue or glossy accents on the lips
Oh.
to make them glossy.
That's awesome idea. I love that. That adds some awesome texture and shine. All right. And once you glue down that card is done, believe it or not. I like the drips. That's cool. I didn't do that with the first card, but I like them. But both are very, very pretty. It's just fun to get some kind of interest, a little bit of interest in that background going, and the spray is a really, really easy way to do that. So fun. So that completes that card. We are done with both of our cards. I've got both of them over here. Let's see, these are the two we created today. I hope you guys were able to get both your cards done because we have excess time. Wow. We kind of breeze through.
I like it. Woo-hoo. So Shannon, you had a giveaway question, but I don't think, did you answer? I don't think you answered. Were you still
I
thinking?
picked two, so
Oh,
I
you did.
cheated.
Okay. Okay. You like the thicker one. But what was the name of the more spirally one? Tell us again, Nicole.
Golly.
Something with a C.
Cavat- Okay, I have to go look
Oh
at it.
yeah, it's kind of hard to say.
Like
Cavatappi? I'm sure I'm pronouncing it. I'm sure that.
I don't know if I've ever had that one.
Oh, really?
Mm.
I get it at Fry's all the time.
Yum. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. We're going to have Nicole announce the winner. I'll let you stick around so you can congratulate the winner. Again, the winner of tonight's giveaway is also going to get that fun prize pack that we talked about earlier. So they're going to get the vellum, the gems, and the extra cardstock pack.
Oh,
so,
fun.
3 in 1. Yay. So Nicole's putting it in her spreadsheet.
I had a few
She's
more people
random
coming in,
generating
throwing
a
'em in
number.
Random number
She's actually
generator.
quite good at it.
Okay, the 146
Now
was
she has
the
to
one here,
scroll
so
around.
let me highlight that. Okay, Mina Craft. I think she's saying cacio de pepe is her favorite. Technically the pasta style, but it's freaking delicious. If you get it made right, so hard to make, but
We have had that when we were in Italy. We had that
you have to
pasta.
have it in
I mean,
Italy.
it was the real deal
So
there.
fantastic.
So good. Like,
But
so
have you
good.
tried to recreate it? It's not easy. It's
My
not
son
easy.
tried to recreate it once, and yeah, it was. I mean, it was good. His was good, but it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not like the original. Sorry. I hope he's not listening.
Sorry, yourself. Anyway, so Mina Craft. I don't know if it says Craftaccini or if that was her answer because it all kind of runs together on my
Okay,
screen.
okay.
But Mina Craft, you know who you are. So if that is you, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Please send us an email to, again, if you are with a store, just post that. Actually, you just need emails because I'm going to get lost in the comments. But send us an email, sales@spellbinders.us, sales@spellbinders.us, and we will get your prize pack shipped next week to you. So
And
congratulations.
worst case scenario, they can message us on Facebook too. Because
Absolutely.
Spellbinder Squad is
Yep.
always watching over there.
She is. She's so
for
good.
sure.
And to that point, Spellbinder Squad has been texting me all evening. The Color Wheel PDF, she has that created and is posting to the files section of Facebook. We will also get it added to the Weekender page because I know some of you aren't on Facebook. Also, the Jennifer McGuire homework video has been sent out. I think it's posted on Facebook. I'm not sure. But also, Eric, who runs the landing page, when he gets home tonight, he will add that to the landing page as well for those not on Facebook. So
Excellent.
be checking
And
for all
it is
that.
on Facebook. I just saw it a little bit ago.
Oh, perfect.
great.
Okay. So we're getting there. We're getting there. And for those of you that are on East Coast time, yeah, you can get up a little earlier and get the homework done before we start. We start tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific.
That's
So,
right. That's
yeah.
right. And yeah, so we actually are finishing up early tonight, which I think is nobody's really going to complain too hard about, especially our East Coast people, like Nicole said. But even us, we've been here a while. So we are ready to just relax and enjoy the evening of our weekender, that's for sure. But thank you so much for participating today, and so many lovely comments and so many people watching live. I always love to see that. Like, wow, people really made the effort to be here live and in person, and that's awesome. Again, reminder, these videos are going to be good for a good long time. You can go back, rewind, rewatch. We encourage you to do that and pick up all those tips and tricks you might have missed when you were typing in, my favorite pasta is linguine.
That's true.
So, in any case. Gavin, let's say a little hello to you and a little thanks so much. Nicole, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We're going to have a couple different moderators tomorrow. We're going to switch it up a little bit here and there. And like I said, we might have some shenanigans going on tomorrow. So definitely check in. 9 a.m. Pacific time. We'll see you tomorrow and have a great weekend or evening.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.